There we go. You can see it on Clean Feed, the recording.
I
see it there.
I don't. I can't see it.
You can't see it?
No,
I can
this
see
is
it.
What I see.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see the We Should recording.
We should recording.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see anything.
Everything you say can and will be recorded.
This stream is sponsored by Clean Feed. Professional audio everywhere.
It's not. It should be.
This stream is powered by Tom.photo. Make you sound good as you look good.
Make Bello sound great again.
Make Bello sound. Oh my, Tom, you see, you already did it. So, okay, wait.
The podcast. Make Bello great again.
I actually like that idea. It's so stupid that it's good again.
Yeah.
And I think, but before we jump into this, since we are recording this, so now we're live, we have to kind of start by hosting, greeting, welcoming people. Do you want to do us the honors, Tom?
What Bello is live. He says, yo.
Already? Oh, yo. Oh, wow. Today it's fast. Usually it takes like 5 to 10 minutes.
Sorry, what did you want to say?
I wanted to say that since we are recording and since we are live, I think we owe our audience a welcome speech. Like,
an apology?
Ladies and gentlemen, for a long time, you've been waiting for this. And like epic music and then, like drum roll and dragon sounds.
Can you do the sound effects and I'll do the intro?
I don't have enough sound effects. Okay.
Very disappointed.
I think we have to make this board work. And I think I don't know if you can probably not see the different colors, but this side is reserved for sound effects. So I can actually put a lot of sound on there. And the other side is reserved for that kind of stuff.
Hit or miss. I guess
that's pretty epic.
That's pretty epic, exactly. But for now, the only sound effects we have is this and this.
Just a pathetic clap and a maniacal laugh.
Yeah, in the beginning I thought having multiple clips was a good idea. Now I know it's a terrible idea. And so maybe this is a good point where we can start. Tom.
I'll do the intro if you give me a clap afterwards, okay?
Okay, but just this once.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Tom Photo. This is Bello. I wasn't finished yet, but I'll take that as a sign to stop.
Okay. No, do it. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
I have no idea what to say. So welcome to the show. Yes. We're going to make something amazing.
Okay.
Together.
Great.
Ooh, that's a very good clap. Thank you.
See.
I'm honored.
So we actually do need two kind of claps, but that's probably more than enough. Like, because the other ones are just repetitive and stuff.
Yes.
So we decided to talk to each other and record it instead of just talking to each other. Why do we do that? Do you have a clue?
That is, wow. That is a question. This question and a half.
We are narcissistic pricks who love to hear themselves sound good with amazing audio equipment.
We got all this equipment. I mean, now we have to do something with it, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the way it works, not the other way around. That's,
So my main goal is I want to find out how podcasts work, what you can achieve with podcasts, like what you can actually do with it. How can you get in contact with people? What is kind of good content? What do audiences like? What do they dislike? Last year I did it with streaming, and I kind of was ashamed of myself at times doing that. And I hope that doing podcasts will be different. You also did streaming. You streamed twice, right? With EVE Online and then with Valorant as well. How did you feel when you streamed?
It's just amazing fun, especially when people come in and the interaction with people, and that just adds a layer on top of your gameplay that I really like. And you don't even have to like the game. that you're playing. You don't even have to like the activity that you're doing, whatever you're doing when you're live streaming, because the interaction is what makes it fun. Like with EVE Online, I used to do a very repetitive thing, which made me a lot of money in the game, but it was very boring to do. But it was very good money. So then I was like, okay, let's just do this, but also stream. And that just made the time fly, past. And I was making a lot of money in the game, and I was getting people to talk to in the chat, which was just amazing fun. But it was also very tiring in the beginning when I first did it. So it takes a lot of energy.
It was a win-win situation. I definitely see that and agree that. And I sometimes lurked into your streams, or sometimes I was active in there and also participated. But I remember this one day where the audience, you already know.
I
feel
the
like
peak of the stream.
Exactly. That's the day where you decided that you don't want to be a streamer. Can that be? That be true?
No, that's not true at all. Because, that was very fun. Also for me, every time that I do a stream, it's bound to get silly at some point. When people discover, how silly it can get, people will always, push the boundary. It was just a lot of fun for me too, for people who were watching. It was just a little bit of craziness, and that sometimes, happens on Twitch for some reason. Sometimes it's just lunacy just suddenly unleashes itself. It was also with the EVE streams. Suddenly there would be like a crazy dance party, and there would be like, I don't know, there would be insane stuff happening. And, it happens at some point when you're going to be streaming and you get people coming in. People are always going to push you to do something. And, I never did anything that I didn't, agree with or anything, because I like doing that. So I don't feel like they used me or something like that. It was just all good fun. Yes, I know you think that way, but it's all, it's all for me. It's really good fun. And I had a good time.
So I think we have to let the audience know what we are doing, or about our constellation, because usually I'm the negative guy because, I'm black, and you're the positive guy because you're white. Like that's
yes, basically that's how it works. Yeah,
that's how you can sum it up in a nutshell. No, but I think this is why I wanted to have you with me in this experiment, because I think it's a good balance, because we do fight at times, but not in a bad way. I think it's a constructive way where we exchange punches and arguments, and I learn a lot from our talks, and I think this is a very valuable thing that I want to see if other people think of this content as valuable as well. So I think this is why we kind of decided to just do we don't have a name yet, but how about make Bello great again? I just came up with that idea on my own.
It's a good idea.
Thank you. I even created a song for this. You want to hear it?
It's so bad that it's good.
I have. Listen to this. This is the song. I wrote it myself, by the way.
All right, go for it. Ooh.
How do you like that?
Are they sing Bello?
Yeah, they sing Bello.
Yeah.
Only cost me like 5,000 euros, but it's okay. It's like,
dude, insane, man.
Yeah,
high quality. You're making some investments.
Of course. What do you think? What do you think? Look at my studio. I paid $10,000 for that. Yeah, on
Impressive.
YouTube. Anyhow, so Leonard is with us. We didn't talk to Leonard for quite a while. Let's say hello to Leonard. Hello, Leonard. You're not doing hello. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Tom, today I learned something. I am, I can be very negative at times. I'm a so-called hater. You're a lover. What do you think about this? What do you think about this gesture? Do you know this? Where does it come from? Why do people do that all of a sudden?
I don't know. I think it's like anime or something. I don't know. I don't watch anime, so
I watched anime. I used to watch anime, a lot of anime, and I don't think it's from anime. I think I did see it in a couple of I don't know, videos from Japanese teenage girls
Yeah.
or, young Japanese girls doing that. But how did it arrive in our Western world? Like, in our civilized, how did it arrive in a civilized world? God damn it.
Weebs, man. It's all about the weebs.
What is the weebs? Tell me.
You don't know what a
the
weeb is?
What is a weeb? No.
You're kidding me, man.
No, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what a weeb
sure.
is. I swear, honestly, really, I don't know what a weeb is. I'm gonna Google it.
It's a Japanophile.
What is a Japanophile? It's like they love everything about Japan
Yes.
and waifu and anime and cosplay.
Yes, and they have like this huge pillow with their waifu on it that they can cuddle with. Yeah. I guess that's it. I don't know. I mean, I like Japan, but
Yeah, you can take it too far sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. I think we agree on this point. I like the flow of our conversation, and I missed talking to you because what the people out there don't know is we decided to do this quite a while ago. I think Eastblock Boy knows about it, and Samuel also knows about it because he's a constant lurker. And how do you call like backwards? No, like time traveling lurkers, because he's always in the past.
time traveling lurkers. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of that.
He's only lurking in the VODs.
Lurking in the
lurkers.
VODs. I see. I don't know if there's a name for that. I wouldn't know what that would be called.
I can imagine us doing a Coolio. Do you remember Coolio, the rapper, one hit wonder rapper?
Well, I've heard of the name, but I don't know. Maybe if you say a song.
Paradise, I'm gonna. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, I know.
I can see us doing a Coolio parody as I lurk on the Twitch in the shadow of dark. I take a look at Tom's face and realize there's much left because I've been laughing and breathing so long now.
Dude, are you freestyling right now?
I'm freestyling because I've been lurking. Wait. I'm gonna.
Damn, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I used to be a rapper when I was younger. Like, just.
Oh, you wanted to put copyrighted music in our podcast? That's a good idea.
Oh, it's not it's not what I wanted to do. Thank you for.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. As long as we don't upload it, is.
Sure.
Okay, so one thing I think is important here. We have to limit our time. I know you don't like that. I know you think we should always be free floating and everything, but I would rather, have a whatever sound that pops up whenever we don't expect it because we're in the heat of a discussion and we're like, oh no, it's already time. Whoa, so we have to continue the next day. See you tomorrow, folks. And we have been talking for 13 minutes. So that's actually quite good because I'm entertained and I feel like you are entertained as well. So I think we're doing something right here. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is something that I showed you the other day, yesterday, I think. But before, I think I wanted to so one thing was the AI dungeon thing, but before I wanted to go back real quick to what we're doing here with the streaming, turning something into a podcast or something, because what we've been doing was we were working on a design system. We've tried out different kind of software, and I never had the chance to actually ask you how you like that process. Because I kind of just pushed stuff onto you and like, hey, look at this, check this out, try this out, install this software. Hey, I did this. Look at this. Look at you actually never had the chance to actually give me some feedback about our workflow. So I want to use the time for that real quick and then maybe jump into some entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, I learned from it. I mean, that's what I can say for first of all, because obviously I'm not a designer. when I want to make a design, I look up things on Google and then I'm like, oh yeah, I like kind of this style. And, just Google images. That's my Pinterest. That's my random generation. That's my everything, right? Google images was always what I would look for. And then just go from there and try to make something, maybe draw something on my tablet and, make it in Photoshop, or even if I really want to put in effort, I would make it in Illustrator, but that would be like the 10th step, right? And, it was a very interesting process for me to see because, it kind of makes sense when you said before that creativity is kind of rearranging stuff, and, it makes sense with the process that you did because you showed me a bunch of tools. I mean, you made me, discover things like Pinterest, which I never used before because it always looked very cluttered and I didn't understand it. Now I understand how it works. And now I see the value of that.
Something here real quick. You know what's crazy? You showed me Reddit. I registered on Reddit yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I actually use Reddit now, and I like it. But before I had the same thought. It was like cluttered,
very addictive.
And I didn't know what is Reddit. God damn it! But now I get it. Okay, but sorry.
I think Reddit is also one of those examples of things that someone has to show you, and then you get it. When you first land on Reddit, you just see a bunch of lines, just a bunch of text, especially the old version. Like the new version looks, in my opinion, very, not very good, but especially the old version looks very, cluttered in the start. But when you actually understand the philosophy behind it, then it's amazing. And then you can basically have, any field of interest that you are interested in, you can, find it on Reddit. So, very, very cool. But it's for me, it's the same with Pinterest. It's kind of like a universe under a blanket. And once you discover it, you're like, how did I never use this? Because the algorithm that it uses to suggest things to you that it thinks you like, is amazing. You find things that you had in the back of your mind, like that's what I'm kind of looking for, but you don't really even realize it yet. And then it shows you, and then I'm like, yeah, that is actually exactly what I meant. That's what Pinterest does, and it's very interesting. And also, with the logo generation things, you also showed some stuff that generated logos and color patterns, and it was all based off of an algorithm. You put data into it, and it spits things back out. And that was just very interesting to see how we took elements that we liked from different places, but said, okay, what do I like about this? What do I like about that? And then put all those elements together into something that, is satisfying and looks good as we want it to look, has the right feel to it, and something that we both agree with. And, it was an interesting process to go through. It's not finished yet, obviously. We still have some design system stuff to do. Also with the fonts, for example, that was very straightforward because, there's no real, you don't create your own font usually.
Well, I
usually
wouldn't say that.
I never created my own font, but I mean, fonts are very, for me, they're important. So like, I'm pretty sensitive to fonts, as you have noticed. So, but I mean, I'm glad that we, put all those elements together and something came out that we like, especially with your design background. You have an idea for design. So the things that you made, with the logo and then just like the faded background things, like I think you know exactly which image I mean. With like the
squares.
This one, I'm gonna send it back to you. But I mean, this one, I mean, you made some examples with the logo and the font that I thought were just amazing. It just made everything click. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's a good experience. It was fun, or it is fun. We're still doing it.
The reason I bring it up, it's kind of a trap. It was a trap. Haha, I gotcha. Because I think our discussion kind of started with us having different opinions, where you said like creativity is creating stuff, and I was like, no, creativity is discovering stuff, and we couldn't kind of get on the same page. And I think you still probably have the same opinion, probably, but I think now you kind of more understand what I mean by the discovering process and everything.
It does help. Yeah, it takes your idea to a next level, because what you can think of in your own head without external impulses, it can be good, but it's also very limiting usually, because usually you have a preconception in your head of what you want something to look, and if you don't know what you can do, then you can't really imagine it either. So if you see things, possibilities, then your mind goes, oh yeah, I can go that direction or that. And then, and then you start really, creating if you see the possibilities. But I still think it's possible to get an original idea for sure. Yeah. But I mean, it does help to discover.
I absolutely agree that you can create original ideas. You do create original ideas. But I want to say that maybe what I mean by discovering is you kind of discover your own taste. You kind of like, what is it that I have it inside of me. I can feel it, but I can't see it. And then you get closer to it. And then you kind of, and especially when we found the right form for the symbol, for the icon, it just, it's like it clicks. Yeah, exactly. And you're like, it's so satisfying all of a sudden.
Yep.
So yeah, that's something that I wanna put a lot of how do you say it? I wanna put the focus on this kind of process, because this is what's very sad to me, that many people don't see that. They only see the result.
Yeah.
And then they feel like, oh, he must be a genius. How did he come up with that idea? But they don't know how many things you tried out in the back. Like, right now we're talking, and the people who are listening, Yusuf is already asking, what's this? And I don't know, Jonas Street Discounts just turned into a Bello. Welcome, my Bello. We have a new Bello.
What's up, my Bello?
He's a Bello now. Yeah, but they can't see what we talk about, and I do it on purpose. I don't want to show, we don't want to reveal it, obviously. And the beauty of it is, this process kind of never ends, and if you do it the right way, it's so much fun. It's a lot of work, but if you do it the right way, it's such a rewarding work, where you don't realize how much you work, but because it's more like playing, it feels like playing. And I think this is what I wanted to start with to kick this off. Kind of, what are we doing? We're talking about creativity here, but I don't like the word creativity, because creative sounds so like, oh, big, oh, fancy. He's a genius. He's like Van Gogh or whatever. I hate people who tell me, hey, oh my God, you're so creative, because I don't feel creative. I'm not creative. I just think about stuff and then dislike it. I allow myself to say it's not good enough. And maybe there's something else. This is something that everyone should try out, but it's hard to tell somebody. It's actually something you have to experience yourself, right? Because I remember we were talking about your website. Now I want to maybe transition to, remember when I tried to give you some advice on your baby? That's always a personal thing. You can never tell a creator something you don't like about their work, because they think it's you don't like me. What? Are you saying that my nose is not fitting on my face? It belongs there. How would you go about doing your website if you would have to start all over again? Would you do it, still keep it the way it is after going through the process?
I don't know. I really do not know what I want.
Okay, but
I think I have to discover more. I think it totally makes sense what you have been saying, and I think I'm already applying it to many things, or I already was applying it to many things. Like, for example, I want to get into food photography, right? And I'm looking at a lot of food photography content and videos, and also other food photographers that are just extremely like high level. And it does, obviously it's very obvious, but when you think about it, it does help by shaping my taste into where I want to go with it, or what kind of styles that I do like. And I'm kind of like gathering that, and it's also developing my style. And I'm also, trying to replicate things, and while replicating things that you like in terms of styles, not exactly copying things, but kind of trying to match the feel. You have to, discover that process. And, that's right now a very interesting period that I'm going through, I guess. I'm trying to find the right process to get a right kind of feel for the photos from what I've gathered and from what I've discovered that I like. So, and, I think a lot of creative processes actually work exactly like that. And, that's interesting because it can take years to develop something, and it's also something that keeps developing over time, right? It never stops. So yeah, interesting stuff.
There's a funny thing I want to show you. A German bank, like it's actually, the name is German Bank. If you translate it's Deutsche Bank. And I want to show you the logo of them, because first of all, I'm going to ask you, how much do you think this logo cost?
We have it in Belgium also, by the way, Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, okay. Then you already know the logo. Let me just pull it up. So this is the logo. Let me, wrong button. So this is the logo. Mm-hmm. Yep. And what do you think of this logo now that we went through the process?
It's a backslash. But I don't know. It's probably a very specific shade of blue that portrays the feeling of trust and safety. But I can see, there is more to it than that. There is a look and feel to it that makes sense. Like, for example, you were telling me that square shapes are very robust. And the thickness of the edge, the squareness of it, the sharpness of the lines. Like, I can see the look and feel that it's portraying. So it is a backslash, but it has a purpose. There's a reason why it looks like this, and it doesn't look like a smiley face.
Did you see what you just did there? Did you see what you just did there? You just became a designer. You talked to me like a designer. Yeah, the robust shapes. It looks strong and firm. Nothing can shake this thing.
I learned this from you.
Well, you learned it from yourself. I just, I showed you the door. You walked through it. But I think this is why I wanted to talk about this, because I had a feeling that we haven't been here for a while now, and I thought that whoever might be watching, I want them to know what this is all about, because we're gonna try to build something here. We've been experimenting on this platform for a year, trying out stuff, playing games, watching YouTube stuff, doing reaction stuff, and nothing of that satisfied my urge to actually do something useful. And I think now we are going in a direction. And also the thing that you just, echoed back to me is like, yeah, okay, must be the right way. Before we go there, I wanna quickly say hello to our honorable mod. East Block Boy is in the building, Mr.
Later, nerds.
Welcome, East Block Boy. How are you? Yusuf, East Block Boy, whoever is watching, sorry that we are not inviting you over to join us today, because we decided that today we just want to have a conversation and invite you guys to listen in, because I think we kind of have it structured in a way, because we had so many talks that we kind of know where we are moving, and we want to try it out. He's even cleaning out, so it's perfect. Before we go on, I want to go back to this real quick and ask you, Tom, how long did it take the designer to create this, and how much did it cost? What do you believe?
Well, this is obviously, I have to make a guess here. But I mean, I really don't know. It could be very low. It could be very high.
Nothing in the middle?
I don't think so. Because the reason you're asking already, so there must be an exceptional story here.
Okay. Well, it's not actually an exceptional story, not at all. But I like the reasoning afterwards, like the explanation. But you're gonna see it's not that big, but it is kind of big. to
Yeah.
talk about it. Just give me anything. Let's just say how long it took me took the
Took you?
designer.
You made it?
Not me.
How long it took me to make this? 10 minutes.
How long did it take the designer to create something like this?
Well, obviously, creating this particular shape wouldn't have taken that much time, but the iterations, I bet, could be very, very lengthy, until he got the look and feel of something right. Because this is a particular shape, like a backslash. But why would you associate a bank with this shape? Not necessarily, So he must have gone through many shapes, like a circle, like a diamond. A number, a D for Deutsche Bank, or DB, the initials. I can see so many things that would be very much more, I'm thinking of the Dutch word, but much more obvious, I guess, to try before this. So what I'm thinking then, what my thought process is this is probably an iteration that took quite a while to get to this point, because it's not a very obvious shape to go for.
Jones Street Discount says 7 months and 22,000 euros. That's his guess.
Right.
What do you think? Like, you still have to throw out a number. You're talking around it. You're like evading.
But I can imagine it took a while. So I'll also say like 6 months, like half a year. I can imagine it would go through something like this, because it's also a big organization, so it has to go through a lot of people, through a lot of approval, because this is the company's image. It's going to be on every building that they own, so it's going to go through some iterations. So I would say something like that, and I would say 500,000, something like that. Something, yeah.
Eastblock Boy says 2 years, 1 million. And I'm just gonna give whoever wants to say something a couple of seconds to write it down right now while I still talk. You have a delay of 30 seconds or something. And now the time's up. So, Tom, you did one thing right. You nailed the price. You nailed it. I think I'm not exactly sure about the exact numbers, but I remember it because we had it in design school or in university, whatever. So I think it was exactly 500 million. I feel like my estimate was
500 million?
500 million. No, 500,000.
500 million.
Sorry. No.
That's a rich designer.
500,000. I'm not sure. We can Google it afterwards. Whatever.
Sure.
I think it was 500,000 and like 500,000 exactly. And it took them 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
To create. And the funny thing is, someone wrote an article about it, like 500,000 for 5 lines.
Yeah, but
and if you look at it, it's crazy.
But it's not
just
that.
1 line.
You're not paying for
line.
5 lines. You're paying for the whole process, right? So
Exactly. And the process is invisible. And the answer of the design team was exactly that, what you just said. Like, they had to go through iterations and test out stuff and find the language that you already said. They wanted to have something that is robust and dynamic at the same time. So this line,
and it's also a line that goes up.
Exactly, it goes up as in your money
Your
grows. Your stock, exactly. But
Okay, I
it's
see.
in this firm thing.
Yeah.
It's safe. We keep
Pretty
you
clever.
safe. Nothing from outside can penetrate your growth. This is what this logo means. What the fuck? But they had to go through and test it over. And, I don't know how many people actually worked on this, but it was a team, an agency. So over 5 years, and they were paid constantly. Like, I don't know. So design can be pretty expensive. And this is why at Apple, what makes Apple so great is they pay the best designers to work for them. Like they put in the thought of why the button is there or not there, and how they are going to do stuff. So look at my clever transition, because we did talk about something about technology. You talked about the new Apple laptop, which has a new processor, and you say it's the future. Why do you say so?
Well, there's many reasons. It's basically a derivative of the chip that we have in our phones, in iPhones, in this case, which have been, gaining in performance, quicker than desktop, components have, for the past 20 years, for sure. So that development is definitely in a growth spurt right now, right? And, those components have become so good at this point that they are starting to rival some desktop components, right? So at this point, they have modified this chip and put it in a laptop, right? In a laptop that runs Mac OS X, like a fully fledged operating system. When they released the first iPhone, they also said, desktop class operating system to the iOS. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it that, but that's what Steve called it in the beginning. But now they are actually running a true desktop class OS on ARM, like on very low power, very low temperature processors. They're specifically made to be low temperature because you can't have a fan in your phone. That would be silly.
Yeah.
And you want it to be low power because you want your battery to go on 1 day, 2 days, as long as possible. So they've been working on that. And now when they can move that into laptops first, because batteries still matter there. A fan doesn't matter that much, but it's nice that it's low temperature. So it makes sense to put it in a laptop next, but next will be desktops, because still in desktops, especially in servers, power and heat are very important, because, when you think about it, the biggest cost of a server farm is power consumption, is not even the components, because the components are expensive. Obviously, you have to buy servers and stuff like that, but maintaining it is just insanity. And air conditioning, like the Google data center has some of the most insane, most innovative air conditioning solutions known to man, to be able to run their servers.
Because they have to. Yeah. Exactly.
And if you because they have this old technology, and when you bring these processors that are made for power consumption and heat, but are still powerful into those servers, then you're going to have, you're going to be able to put, 5 times as much servers in a rack, so you're going to have power, space, temperature savings, you're going to have savings all over the place, and for more performance per square meter in a server farm, which matters. So that's what I think is the future.
It's, the thing that you mentioned, you said Steve Jobs called this desktop level processing power or whatever on the iPhone. And you say, no, it wasn't. I wouldn't call it that. But you have to remember who Steve Jobs was. When he introduced the first Apple Macintosh home computer with these 1984 campaign, throwing a hammer into Big Brother computer and whatever. At that time, computers could do nothing. It was already a revolution that you had a graphic user interface with Windows and you could see what you do instead of writing lines. And looking at the iPhone,
compared to the competition, sure. Yeah.
Was way better than the old stuff. So the thing is, the important thing that I want to get at is, computers kind of improve year by year, but the usage, the applications, they don't really get more. Well, sometimes it depends on what field you are. For example, Photoshop got very, very, now it has neural networks implemented, working with, high processing technologies and everything. But most of the people nowadays still just go to the internet and do everything web-based, like, they write emails, they write text, they watch videos. What else do? They don't do 3D renderings or whatever. And these chips are already able to do 3D renderings in an amazing way. Look at what kind of games you can play on this tiny device compared to the PlayStation 1. Like, polygons and triangles or whatever. Like, it's unbelievable. We used to have Super Nintendo or Commodore 64, 65, whatever. Like, it has it has drastically improved, and we are at a point where they can actually allow themselves to put in less greater hardware into a desktop, because it will be good enough for the average needs. Of course, you know, it will not be a working horse for like a power machine for specific things like 3D rendering, AI programming, 4K video editing or 8K video editing or something. This is probably where the ARM processors will take some time. Maybe in 5 to 10 years, they will probably also be there. But the big majority will benefit from the decision. And the angle I'm getting at is Apple is crazy. I hate and I love Apple because Apple is bold. Apple decides what is going to be in the future. Do you remember that Apple decided that we are not going to use CDs anymore? And then it happened. They just said, we drop this CD, whatever, how do you call it? The cartridge? I don't know. You know what I mean. They just stopped putting it into their computers, and all of a sudden we don't need CDs anymore. And then CDs just die.
But they keep doing that, right?
Then they tried their luck with the Lightning connector. It had, you know, it worked for quite some time. Then they realized, okay, USB-C is better. Now they put USB-C in everything. First, when the first Macs came out with only USB-C, everyone was ranting about it, like, fucking hell, adapter shit and blah, blah, blah. And now they're all like, oh, wow, I need one cable for everything. It works everywhere, and I can put it in wherever I like. I can charge my computer from 4 plugs. Wow, this is so cool. And this is why I think it's very interesting to see what these designers do. And for this job, what we talked about with like Deutsche Bank and Apple, it's the same thing. We are shaping the world by discovering it, by, you know, looking at it, thinking about it, like, do we like that it is that way, or should it be maybe different? And this is what I think is the process of creativity. We actually discover what we want, how we want it to be, what is useful, what is actually, you know, only looks good but doesn't really bring any benefit or anything. And there's a designer, I always forget his name, but I know how to find him, Sagi Haviv. Now, it's even written here. He's a great designer who talks about it in his courses. He has courses on Domestika and Skillshare and everything. I did these courses, and if you are kind of intermediate to advanced, these courses are probably not for you. But if you have no idea, no clue about design, I think, you know, might be worth taking a look at this. And it's a 3-minute clip that I just want to show you to get these visual impressions of this workflow, because you can kind of see it. I hope this is the right video, because I see this is Spanish. Maybe I can find it by Sagi Haviv.
While you look for that, I mean, Apple has been, you know, doing that for a long time, and they keep doing that even with their mobile solutions right now as well, because, you know, everything that they do, other people tend to, you know, also adapt. You know, the whole, especially the mobile industry. Like, for example, they decided not to put phone chargers in their boxes, and guess what? Samsung made an ad, like with a phone charger, and they were like, "We still comes with this charger." What is Samsung doing now? They're removing the charger from the box in their next phone. This year, reportedly, Apple is going to remove the port on their phones.
What port?
The port. There is a port on it. Remember they took away the headphone jack? Remember that? You remember when they took away the headphone jack?
Show me the port one more time.
Everybody was like, "We still have a headphone jack." Now most phones, they don't have headphone jacks.
Yeah.
You have a lightning port still on their phones, right?
Yeah.
There's a port for charging and stuff.
Yeah.
They are reportedly removing that this year. A completely portless, no headphone jack, no port, no charging port, nothing. Purely wireless charging. They're going to do that this year. I'm pretty sure of it, that they're going to absolutely do it, because it's perfectly Apple-like to do something like that, and the whole industry is going to follow them. So, just to confirm what you're saying, they've been doing that for many things.
But there's also a counter movement. E-project. Have you heard about the E-project?
No.
De-Google your phone. This is a de-Googled Android kind of e-foundation. So I see what you're saying, and this is why I asked you, because you say this is the future, and I see your argumentation and everything. It makes sense. You have a reason to believe so, but I think it might not be. Maybe because of course this is the mainstream, but we do see projects like this popping up every now and then. And what I really like about the E Foundation is they are working together with Fairphone. Do you know about the Fairphone?
Nope.
You don't know about the Fairphone? Okay, nope. Before we get into this, we're gonna okay, I'm just gonna show you. You can shop for a Fairphone 3 Plus, and the great thing about a Fairphone 3 Plus is this is a phone that you can completely disassemble, buy custom parts like replacement parts, and it's like it's made like Lego, so that everyone who buys it can just assemble it themselves. So you can actually counter the for example, remember the Foxconn scandals for Apple iPhones, where people who assembled the phones actually committed suicide because of the working conditions and everything. Mm-hmm. So there's always a darker side to that as well. They are on one hand innovating, on the other hand, it's kind of on what's the cost of this innovation. And these projects are there, and I like to be the negative guy who says like, no, it's not gonna be the future. Here, look at this and everything. It's not good that Apple is doing it, because I think what Apple is doing from design-wise, a design perspective, is great. But what Apple is doing from a marketing and economic perspective is terrible in my point of view, because they're kind of creating this closed universe where you are forced to play by their rules. And if you don't like what they are doing, then get out of here. So I don't like that attitude.
That's true.
So I think this is, but let's not get too deep into this for today. I just wanted to show it. And now I need a quick breathing moment. I want to show this. I want to show this clip. Let's just look at this. It's in Spanish probably, but let's just look at this and get some impressions of.
So what is this again?
This is the one a very successful designer who shows. This is actually an advertising for his online course, but you see a lot of impression of what these people at Apple's and Google's and whatever these designers are doing. And this is, I guess, what I want to quickly share. See, this is the National Geographic. Oh, sorry, I'm pausing it already, but look at the logo of National Geographic. It's so iconic. It's only a yellow square, but it's iconic. It looks like as if it was born like this. And it's crazy.
Hi, my name is Sagi Haviv, and I'm a partner and designer at Shamayef Geismar Haviv in New York City. Over the years, our company has designed some visual identities you might recognize, like those for National Geographic, NBC, Animal Planet, Mobil Oil, Chase Bank, and the US Open. When people ask me what I do, I tell them that identity design is a search for essence. This means initially listening, observing, learning, meeting, understanding, rephrasing, and even challenging. And only then we start sketching and drawing, which takes place on a continuum between distinction and simplicity. How special can we make a mark while still keeping it simple? How simple can we make it without becoming generic? The beauty is in the balance. Every design is a solution to a problem. Our practice is a response to a client's needs. But the difference between good work and great work is the search for something beyond solving a problem. We're looking for an artistic quality. In this Domestika course, I will guide you through this creative process using basic principles of logo design, and I will share with you experiences we had with some of my studio's most prestigious clients. Through the process of working on a logo and identity for a client, we will explore our own identity as graphic designers. Who do we want to be as practicing professionals? This course will help you elevate your work and your portfolio. As a final project, you will learn to create a logo design for your own client and to build a convincing case. First, we will talk about what it means to be a designer and an expert. We will define the criteria for an effective logo and analyze some of the designs that you submitted to us. We will then put the theory into practice and walk through a real-life logo design project. We will go out into the field to find and meet a client. Next, we will follow the process of interviews, analysis, design strategy, and concept development that we went through with Harvard University Press. Finally, we will demonstrate how the logo comes to life in applications and how to develop a comprehensive presentation in order to build a case for your design and be prepared to deal with a challenging client. At the end of this course, you will have the tools to practice identity design professionally. This course is for any creative who seeks to gain perspective on their career path, maximize their talent, and in the process, learn to create an effective logo that can become the cornerstone of a great portfolio.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Something
Yes.
potential to become iconic.
So this is definitely an advertising, but it's he tells you and you see while he talks. And you know, since we did this process and I just dragged you into this, you kind of, you know what he just said, but you know, somebody who never did it, I think, you know, might not get it. And I think, you know, why I wanted to us to talk, get online, why I picked these talking points and everything, and we're almost out of time. We have 9 minutes left, like 8 minutes left, so we have to hurry up, is I want to ask the question that he asked, what are we doing as designers? And I ask you as my fellow designer, because you and I are designing a show, and this was our test, one of our iterations. We did it one way today like this. Let's talk to each other. And another thing would be like trying out another thing, like maybe bring in a guest, or maybe, you know, let's have it. Maybe one day you are in front and I'm not visible. And another day, quite opposite. Like, you know, somebody who's talking from the back. How does it feel? What does it do? Does it add? Does it subtract? And stuff like this. And so I want to use the last moments to ask you, what are we doing? Like, not, I don't want a real answer, but you know, like your feel. I want to, you know.
I think, you know, I think one thing that he said, I forgot his name, but what he said in the video.
Sagi Haviv.
Yeah, what Sagi Haviv said. He said one particular sentence. I don't know the complete sentence. I tried to write it down, but then I forgot the last word. He said something about the continuum between simplicity and I think it was like distinctiveness or something like that.
Yes.
Man, that is a great sentence to, you know, describe a great design.
Yes.
Because it has to be simple, but it has to be distinct as well.
Exactly.
So you can recognize it out of 1,000 things. So and that is an art. That is, you know what? Truly an art.
The interesting thing is they are two opposites. Distinctive and simple are, you know, are opposites, and finding the right balance. Exactly. Yeah. And this is exactly what it is all about. So also with us doing a podcast, we kind of want to be simple. Like, you know what? We want to be,
definitely,
people have to be able to understand us. But at the same time, we also want to be distinctive. We want to specialize on things. Like, we don't want to bore people with telling them that the sky is blue. Everyone knows that. It's like too simple.
And but also like recognizable and, you know, separable from a thing that already exists.
Exactly. So this was for me today a practice session where I tried out. I actually, you know, you are one of my elements. I am one of my elements myself. So it's not a hierarchy or whatever. I wanted to put element Bello and element Tom next to each other and let them talk, because when we were talking about the content, I noticed that you were really focusing on the guest part, and I like guests. I want guests, but I want us to also understand our greatness. We are great parts of the show as well. Like, we have to design with us and with guests kind of way, and that's why.
I agree. But the only thing that why I think a guest is, carries importance is because a guest might have, expertise on a specific subject that we want to talk about. And that is very valuable to talk to somebody who has a very thorough knowledge about a certain subject. And that is just very interesting. We can learn from it. Other people can learn from it. And I think that's valuable content. But I do agree that, bouncing our ideas off each other is also very interesting for us, and we can learn from that as well. So I think both are valuable for sure.
Definitely.
But
yeah.
I know what you
I
mean.
think it's not against or anything. It's first time tuning in. Really enjoyed this conversation whilst getting some late night work done. Thanks, guys. Oh, thank you. And we're almost done. We will limit it to 1 hour, and we have 1 minute left. No. 5 minutes, 4 minutes left.
5 minutes,
Tom will have the last word. I will shut up soon. But what I wanted to point out is, I think what I want us to do, and this is, thank you, Jones, for also proving this concept, is I want us to have this, what we just did, as our ground base level and build from here. Like, we meet and talk, have interesting conversations that other people can also benefit from. And then also, let's say, for example, the next day when we come back here, we agree on talking about maybe podcasts. And then we say, hey, if we talk about podcasts, then we need to talk to Joe Rogan. And then we have to find a way to get him on the show. Then, because then it makes sense. Talking about podcasts without talking with or to Joe Rogan is like, you're not doing something right. You're missing the essence. He became kind of the essence of podcasting in 2020 or 2021. Keep forgetting that we are in 2021. Anyhow, Tom, I'm going to shut up. Thank you for being here with me today. And I will let you do the honors of saying farewell to our audience and whatever. Have the last word.
I don't think anybody's waiting for you to shut up, by the way. I think, you're doing a great job in, carrying the conversation. So, I think you're very good at that. So, well done, Bella, I would say. I want to start by thanking Bella. I want to start by thanking my mother for bringing me into this world. No, but I mean, I don't really know, what to say necessarily. But I mean, I do think we have had an interesting conversation today, and I think we will have many interesting conversations to come. And I think this is even worth uploading. So the "we should" recording thing you did in the beginning was definitely worth it, because we did have an interesting conversation about some topics that we talked about before. So, and we deepened them out a little bit. And I think, we should just keep doing that, and that could be a show, you know what I mean? And then a guest show can be complimentary, and the other thing should be us talking about stuff that we are interested in and that we like, and just bounce ideas off each other and learn from that. So I think both are equally valuable, and I think we should do both. And, we should keep learning every day. And that's what we're doing. So, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. See you soon again, hopefully. We have a lot of things planned for you. We will get there. But for now, it's bye-bye. And I said Tom will have the last word. So I say bye-bye. And then Tom says,
bye, Bello.